Yep, heading into Atlas Lab, the first map, taking a look at the draft. What are your
Oh,
thoughts on these compositions that are coming in? I know a certain character might catch your eye as the first
yeah.
pick.
It looks like CyberSwipe has a bit of a steamrolly comp here with two very close-range melee goalie-ish picks in Dubu and Asher. Zoe's on Dubu, which is Dubu Brawler. You'd kind of love to see it. But with the Rune midfield, on an Among Titans start, these three characters will not actually be that slow. They'll have a lot more coverage than they usually would with that movement speed. And Rune can cover so much space with that they can set up these insane, almost unbreakable offenses. And
Yeah,
on the side of Eternal Sovereigns, they'll be playing now X and Luna. And if I'm not wrong, it would be Luna goalie. It is. It is. They playing Luna goalie.
yeah.
So goalie might kind of crumble versus Cyber's comp if they're not careful.
Yeah, there is a lot of things to be scared of if you're the Luna, and especially if you're a small Luna here with the Among Titans coming in. They're trying to supersize Appabug, who unusually, but usually for Appa, right, is on that Siphoning 1 instead of the Mag Souls here. So that lack of speed is going to be a factor, but maybe they'll be able to damage the Dubu enough.
Appa did take perfect form on an Among Titans start here, so he will be slower, but he will have that basically free size awakening as well as perfect form Wand X. So he's really going all in for this super big damage size funnel comp right now, especially with the healing from Julok.
Yeah, Dave building up a lot of meter. Appabug getting a KO, though. That's a rune going down, an important part of the defense, but the core slips away, and that's the one weakness right now, right? That X lacking so much speed has a hard time keeping the core in his own hands.
Yeah, they're kind of finding a lot of easy power plays, but getting proper extensions off of them might actually prove difficult. But Dave with a dash flip will be taking out Expo Chan, and Zoe's looking low too. They're kind of steamrolling them in terms of damage comps right now. I think CyberSwipe might have to figure that out in order to win this game.
Yeah, these power plays are never ending. Back and forth, but oh no, Dave! Okay, back in time this time, but the rune pillars continue to be a bit of a problem. The barrier taken finally, and Julok passing to Appabug, but the bell ringer not quick enough at the moment. Now the passing plays up to Zoe the Witch, a roll, but Julok finds a strike war, and now in the corner the pass splitter does its job, and once again, it is the Eternal Sovereigns on the back foot, but they get around the fortress, but Zoe sends it right back. The primary from Julok does not connect, and CyberSwipe with the first goal.
There's what we were talking about. I mean, they got 3 KOs in that one point, but it took them so long to even get that second barrier dropped, and they couldn't even score on the open net. They're having so much damage presence, but getting that conversion, getting the goal off of those KOs is kind of proving difficult. Meanwhile, Cyber, all they really need is a single outplay from Lune, or a good pillar.
Yeah, and a certain chatting, not a chatting member, but someone in the chat failing the reading comprehension check. It's been a while. The scoreboard does have that information. Big tilt. But Appabug with the flip available could take this barrier. Oh, but goes for the flip a little early. Tries to use the hit stun, and now CyberSwipe are back in the lead. All the way past Dave, who goes soaring a little bit too far. Good attempt by Dave to try and guess an angle, but it didn't pan out.
He went for the dash to cover that open space core, but Rune can just take it back to him so quickly with just a pillar there. And the Luna dash is just such a big commitment that they get scored on for missing it.
Yeah, and now top side, Zoe the Witch pushing forward. It's all about getting this early core control, and this double banish will bring the core control so much in their favor. A clean shot to the top side. Zoe the Witch pushing forward, finally taken out, but 2 barriers already down. But 2 returned right back by Appabug. What a double barrier from the other side of the screen here.
Oh, that should be it, yeah. A big interaction from Julok there. Strike primary, waiting out the pillar, getting it through assertive, and down to Appabug for a goal there. That's pretty clean.
Yeah, but it's scary, right? Those kinds of situations have to happen for the Eternal Sovereigns to score. It's not looking very easy against Expo, who is bouncing off the center, finding these angles, and that barrier's taken too. The clear not quite found, and the passing plays coming through. And once again, CyberSwipe in there. Dave with a good rocket to block the first attempt, but doesn't quite get the strike the second time, and CyberSwipe, they're steamrolling, and if they pick up survivability, it's going to be so scary.
Yeah, those are the kinds of rounds that CyberSwipe really wants to play, where they just get an easy start of the round, they get possession, and they can turn it into just this instant steamroll. And Fight or Flight's coming in for Zoe the Witch. This is really massive, because Dubu already has such a large strike hitbox. If you get like Among Titans, 15% speed, 17.5 from Fight or Flight, Dubu will be flying all over the map, and it'll be so hard to get it past him because of his just massive strike hitbox. So it's looking like Zoe might just be running around striking off cooldown here. That's the big highlight from this draft, I'm thinking.
Yep. Well, we will have to see here if the damage can come through. Dave, of course, notably picks up a spark, right? That spark of strength could prove to be useful, but again, that survivability is still left in the carousel for the future drafts here. Julok trying to dribble forward, but not quite finding it. And Opabug also taking a ton of damage, shield up now, but still very vulnerable in this moment. And Zoe the Witch is just out strike warring everybody, forcing out so many abilities, forcing out every single primary from Julok. And now to the bottom side, Expo goes, and there's going to be a pillar setup. It's going to be so bad for them right here.
Yeah, there's that movement speed in action. It feels like it's impossible to get the ball away from Zoe. And she gets it again, and right there with the strike up into roll, that's a KO on Dave and an instant goal.
Yeah, really, really explosive on the goal line. And once again, it's Cyber Swipe looking very, very strong. What do you think Eternal Sovereigns need to really turn this one around?
I feel like they know it themselves. It's just that they have to kill Zoe. That's what they're playing for. Like, we see Opabug in the back line, trying to stop Zoe from getting Zorb. They're nuking her. They're ulting her with X. But, like, the issue is that when you have such high movement speed, you can just walk away from whatever is going to kill you. You can just leave. And right now, they get this... Yeah, they get their one interaction here. And it's just taken both barriers instantly.
Yep. Well, Opabug trying to find something here, but the X is just so slow. Goes for one barrier take, but can't follow up in the pillar. Snipes it away from Julok and past Dave. What a shot by Expo.
Yeah, they lost possession off the first barrier take, and that's very lethal against this kind of comp.
Yeah. Now as we go further here, just a lot of meter built up for the side of Eternal Sovereigns. Maybe they'll be able to find a flip, but this Banish slows it down so much. But good strike wars by Dave keep both barriers alive. Strike warring against a much larger Dubu, but still managing to get it done. Getting a barrier on the other end as well. And Dave's doing well on the offense so far, but Zoe's just too big, too fast, and Expo's in there as well.
Okay, well, they have two flips, and yeah, Expo's very low here. They spent both, but the stagger bars on the side of Cyber Swipe's forwards are looking quite low. There's a KO. They can maybe convert this into something greater here. Definitely. But the issue is that Asher is so good at holding it down, and she has that flip to work with. Expo Chen has the breakaway with the ball here, and they can't find much out of it.
Yeah, but maybe Assertive will be able to insta-flip it in. Opabug barely catching that, preventing disaster, but it goes to the top side. Zoe stops the core once again, pushing in with the log. And it flows to the other side once again. Appa and Julok trying to get possession, but it just interrupted over and over. The barrier beam. Assertive has plenty of cooldowns to work with, and the barrier still stands as now overtime hits, and it gets even scarier here with the rune.
Yeah, Julok got in a bit of a sticky situation. Yeah, with a rune pillar and an Asher ult, and that got that stagger bar so low where they could be killed at the end there. And this X ult power play, they can convert off of it so consistently. It's so hard for Eternal Sovereigns to find their way out of that one. And I'm noticing this massive difference. Whenever Eternal Sovereigns finds a kill, it's like the game just stalls out. But as soon as Cyber Swipe gets one from anything, it's like the point is scored almost immediately, because that's just the way their comps are kind of headed out.
Yeah, and now with the stagger swagger as well.
That's...
Oh no!
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah,
the Dubu is just going to be able to run so quickly. Going to be so much harder to kill. That is so difficult to deal with.
Also notable is a Castellas Monu on Rune. It is going to be a little annoying to get past these pillars in those corner situations, especially if you don't have any insane like core stopping abilities like Asher would. Luna doesn't have anything to deal with that really. So the combination of this like strong offense with Rune and Zoe being pretty much unkillable and by far the fastest player in this lobby is very, very powerful for Cyber Swipe.
Yeah, and now on top side, the pillar goes in. Expo low, but grabs the goalie orb. Heals up just enough to survive against Opabug. And again, these margins are so important. If that goalie orb was denied, and Dave with the panic strike as well. It's just a Cyber Swipe forward, surviving for a little bit too long. Good evade as well. And now Zoe just dancing across the field. So much speed. Finds a dribble to the top side. And they're 2 goals away from sealing this first game.
Yeah, it's... when there's a pick like Now and X, and you can't have the core like a lot of the time, it really crumbles like that, because when you have to play on the back foot with this kind of team composition, it gets so rough because you can't really make those situations. You can only confirm off of them.
And Zoe the Witch is low, but again picks up the goalie orb. That level of healing is perfect. Just barely surviving once again, and this time Appabug taken out. Assertive had that flip for who knows how long, honestly, and finally uses it to keep both barriers alive. And now Zoe in the 1v1, the Tofu Fortress, the barrier gone, and the pillar almost seals the fate of this point, but still they're keeping it going. Maybe Eternal Sovereigns could find something here, but a strike war by Expo to the top side. Dave there just in time, but it's so difficult when the barrier beam stuffs every opportunity for Appabug.
Yeah, there's the pillar again. It's just Expo is striking it back into the pillar for a perfect angle on the net there. And because Dave is on strike cooldown, there's nothing they can do. It's just these insane conversions off of any time they get possession, they can roll it into a goal very reliably.
Alright. Going in once again is Expo. Both barriers already taken. Final point of the game perhaps up to Zoe the Witch. Maybe finding a passing play to the top side here as Julok to Appabug looking for the corner, but they just don't have enough speed. They don't have enough reach. The barrier finally falls thanks to a flip from Dave, but they got to keep it in their possession. Dangerous situation for Assertive, but the barrier beam is just too solid. And once again, it is CYBR who hold, and Zoe the Witch dribbling the core forward. We've seen this so many times before, and that's the final goal for the first game.
Yeah, it's so hard to get that ball out of there with the Dubu wall because, I mean, really all Luna can do is allow him, right? Is just allow the hamster to dribble it up, but with no dash, she can only really just look at what's about to happen and accept it.
Yeah, that's a little bit rough, but CYBR, right? They are a team that could contend to win it all here. They're a team that has made it to the grand finals of weeklies many times recently, and despite technically being a nasty team, this team's looking a little scary.
Oh yeah.
Well, heading on to the next game, our next map will be the Taiko Temple. Any thoughts on that after what you saw in the first game?
Well, Taiko is a map much more conducive to the kind of comp that CyberSwipe just brought out. The lockdown goalie, the kind of midfielder who has a lot of presence and sits around that midfield line with mags, and the brawler that just stuffs the core in the net. Dubu brawler especially, kind of first gained that notoriety on Taiko Temple. So if they kind of decide to bring out the same genre of composition onto this map, they might find about the same level of success as last game.
Yeah, we're gonna see the Starting Awakenings as well in just a second. And it looks like it's Rapid Fire Catalyst. Oh, that Catalyst's a little bit scary, isn't it?
It might be, especially if Eternal Sovereigns' plan is to keep playing that kind of damage playstyle. I think they can kind of try to pull it off with Rapid Fire, but if you're reducing your cooldowns with Rapid Fire and you're hitting them more frequently into a team that has Catalyst, you're giving them so much energy, and it's going to be a little difficult to really pull that off. So I think Rapid Fire is, I wouldn't say bait, but if your plan is to play damage, I don't think it's exactly the wisest idea.
Oh, interesting. Well, not very interesting, actually. Pretty good for Eternal Sovereigns to ban away the rune there. I think the rune would have continued causing more problems, honestly, on the Taiko Temple. And with the first pick, Asher, that is definitely a pretty powerful first pick for probably Appabug here.
Yeah, getting that Asher off of the hands of CyberSwipe, getting that rune off of too, is, I agree with their drafting completely there. You do not want to let them get either of those characters, because if they do, then they can really just snowball that draft.
Oh, but the Aimi is one that we saw in their final match against the Flying Blobos, and it was excellent on Expo-chan. And it kind of looks like they're going to go for a lot of the same, but this time with Aimi.
Well, she is definitely a lot easier to get the core past and around and through than Rune, but she kind of trades that off for a lot more damage presence, and in my opinion, a bit less cooldowns, a bit more like uptime. I think this will really have to depend on the brawler pick to see how the Amy will work.
Yeah, on the other side, there's Finny and Now here. And we're seeing Dave always on these range goalies, right? And I think that the Dubu matchup is pretty favorable into this one.
That is true, but the thing about Finny now is that if Eternal Sovereigns plays this properly, there is a chance that Dubu will just never ever get that core in the situation they really wanted in. And I think Eternal Sovereigns, it'll depend on the rest of Cyberswipe's draft, but it's looking like they have a bit of a stronger draft going on. Now Asher is really good at scoring. Now Finny is really good at keeping the ball upwards and in that kind of midfield situation. So I think as long as they play it in that kind of style, I'm pretty sure they might find a much more successful game in this one than the last.
All right. Well, we are looking at the start of this first game here. They're going to queue up in just a second. This is a very, very Cyberswipe composition from Cyberswipe. Taking a look at it, who do you think's the goalie?
Will I root the competition?
It's Dubu, Aimi, Era.
Oh. it's going to be Aragoli, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if it weren't Aragoli. I would be shocked if it weren't Aragoli, honestly.
Probably
With
the case.
just knowing the players, yeah.
Well, whenever Eternal Sovereigns are ready, we're going to head into game, and I'm liking the prevalence of Dubu, I gotta say. Very fun brawler to watch. But very frustrating to play against as a goalie, but, you know, it happens.
The Era pick is interesting to me, because I think Era goalie with Amy midfield is not the kind of... They're kind of anti-synergistic. Era doesn't really do damage as goalie, and Amy doesn't really have that steamroll power that Era wants to be paired with on those forwards. The Dubu is on theme for it for sure, but I think Amy might have to find a little bit of creativity to really consistently get the ball forward here, especially into a matchup like Now, because I think Amy gets kind of rolled by Now.
It kind of feels like they wanted to pick Mako without picking Mako.
Yeah. But Mako was open.
Yeah, Mako was open, but that wouldn't be the cool thing to do, you know?
That's true.
Yeah, well, we're queued up. We're heading in. Quick, how many catalysts, how many rapid fires?
Honestly, I could see 4 rapid fires, 2 catalysts on the brawlers, 4 rapid fires on the midfields and forwards. I would be surprised if that were the case.
Alright, we'll see how it goes. Opabug on the Asher is going to have to do a lot of work in the scoring department. Might be decently possible against the projected Era goalie here.
And, oh yeah, I think Asher can definitely get it done.
Yeah, and of course Now is also going to have a pretty good time in this map as well, with how the lanes are panning out. So, not doom and gloom at all for Eternal Sovereigns, but Cyberswipe. They look so strong in this tournament. They are definitely the team to beat right now. And they are playing their own style.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if this comp isn't explanation enough, it's that. Yeah, 2 catalysts both on the brawlers. I mean, I would be shocked if this composition, you just look at it and say that this is a team of people that follow the meta traditionally.
Yeah, and Zoe the Witch getting off to a good start, bouncing off the top wall, finding a barrier early and assertive. Looking very familiar with the Era goalie, not trying to shove it through Opabug at all, but using the Bewitching Beam to be able to hit it around Opabug that much more easily. And Expo Chan combining with Zoe the Witch, holding the core in the bottom corner so well. And a very confident first goal and a sign of more goals like that to come.
One thing I'm noticing is that Zoe the Witch is getting away with a lot of advancing dribbles, which I'm pretty sure Finny goalie doesn't have too rough of a time cutting as long as you're prepared for it and like ready for them to go for it. I think if Dave can find those like strike shots, Finny primaries on the forward dribbles from Zoe, that might get their defense a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, and I also think Dave is kind of auto-piloting Finny primaries forward, right, to try and put damage onto Zoe the Witch, but that's also making it easier for Zoe to score. But they do find the KO, so it's rewarded that time. And now Expo and Assertive in a defensive position that's quite difficult, but Expo with the KO on Appa, who pushed up too much into the corner. And Expo on the Aimi KOs has been so precise, but that big finish is good from Dave to stall out the play. The respawn's going to come in just a second.
Yeah, Julok gets the flip baited out there. Went for using it at the kill, but then they die themselves because they don't have that evade. No like power to work with. And Expo-chan gets a solid strike in the primary off the glitch pop there. Primarying first, gets the barrier. And Dave walks up into the strike on Expo-chan, but is not able to get the strike cooldown back in time.
Yeah, and that is another point for CyberSwipe. CyberSwipe being quite the ability so far in this game. Expo-chan finding a lot of value on kickoff as well, going for a tricky shot and eventually finds the barrier. And Zoe the Witch pushing forward as well. The triple take will help defend as well as the pass splitter, but so many cooldowns burned.
Yeah, I think they really need a goal here, Eternal Sovereigns, because if they can find that, they can remind themselves, like, wait, we're still in this, we're still competitive. And the momentum is kind of snowballing against them, but they have to remind themselves, like, wait, we got here for a reason, and we can get that KO on Zoe the Witch for one.
Yeah, big KO, but they got to get these barriers, and the strike ward is so difficult when your era shrunk, slowed, assertive, making full use of the Bewitching Beam here, and hitting around Opabug one last time. Just confident defensive play here from Assertive as Julok almost dies to the NATO, barely stays alive, burns the flip. Dangerous spot still as the Fireball Sentry times out. Dave trying to send to the other side, but Opabug can't get enough damage on Expo.
Yeah, one thing I'm noticing is that the core is kind of slipping through. When Assertive is defending, she finds these angles that barely gets it past the strike hit boxes of the forwards of Eternal Sovereigns. And getting the ball away early like that is one of Era's like most wanted ways of defending, because she doesn't want to play those long offenses.
Yeah, on the other hand, they're forced to play a lot of those extended offenses with how Zoe is maintaining possession here. Another roll in front of the barrier, the Fireball Sentry set up, and it goes around the big finish. The pass splitter helps by blocking out Zoe the Witch, but it's a glitch pop that seals the deal on this point. Expo gets it done once again. It's 3-0.
Yeah, hit stun on both forwards, threading needle shooting between them. It's a solid glitch pop for sure. Going into this draft, Expo-chan is MVP, and there's quite a few awakenings to pick here. I'm seeing a lot of speed for one. There's a first Spark of a Drill, Peak, Stacks, Stagger Swagger. I think peak performance pickup on Zoe the Witch is something they cannot allow. There's Dave taking it, yeah. And the movement speed awakenings will very much define this draft. Maybe Stacks and Stacks for Julok. Stagger Swagger for sure, yeah.
Right.
And all of them get taken.
Yeah, that's such a scary situation to be in, right? Your forwards don't get survived, like, mostly Opabug in particular, not being able to reach that Stagger Swagger if the pick order was flipped, I think would be really huge. Of course, they have the spark scaling potential, but the immediate power right now from Expo-chan's Super Surge is really taking over.
Yeah, getting caught in that Aranado is really bad for Oppo there. And the side of Eternal Sovereigns they did get all 3 movement speed awakenings. 3 of the 4 in that draft. But the issue is that they have to really find a way to make it count for them, because what it looks like they're really going for is to deny it from Zoe the Witch. I think they took Stagger Swagger like that so Zoe couldn't get that survivability so they could keep killing her.
Yeah,
and they want to do that even more now that she has stacks.
Yeah, both survivability, main survivability awakenings off the board now, so that is a bit of a bright side for Eternal Sovereigns, right? No peak, no Stagger Swagger like you were saying, and with a lot of meter built up, maybe they can do something here, but a flip by Assertive sent away once again, clean clears, but the Dubu finally falls, and with this KO, they need to push forward, they need to find these barriers, but that mini NATO from Assertive gets it right past the Pat Splitter.
This small NATO just getting right through there. There's a stacks reset on Zoe the Witch, so even though they only got 1 barrier off that power play, it's not looking too awful. They find the flip, but barely don't get the angle, and Zoe the Witch finds his dribble, wall into Cyber Swipe.
Wow.
Just like the game.
That was a ridiculous combo, and yeah, there was a little bit of particle accelerator there, sending it to Expo so quickly. And Dave, like, I'm not even sure if Dave had enough time to use the flip. That was so fast.
Maybe not in reaction.
Yeah, definitely had to be a prediction there, but it's so difficult. There, the core speed works in Eternal Sovereign's favor, though. 1 barrier already down, and Dave has disconnected, it looks like.
Missing in action. Oh, he's back! I think he just... I don't know, he tapped out or something.
Well, it looks like we're back. Oh, no, Dave is back. Okay, we're back, but Expo has a flip, setting up in the top side with the...
Yeah,
checkmate.
Not a great situation to come back to.
Well, despite that small issue. CyberSwipe are still continuing here, and on the bright side, right, even with that flip used at the end, CyberSwipe still have a decent chunk of energy on Zoe the Witch, the member they want to survive the most. This is going to be really, really good for them as long as Appa can't find a KO here, and the Taiko Drum denies it.
Yeah, and they finally found one of these offenses going. Big finish on the Era, and they can cleanly convert that into double barrier. And they're getting a lot of damage on Zoe the Witch, too. This round is looking really good for Eternal Sovereigns.
Especially with that flip block as well. Zoe the Witch sent to Narnia off the Taiko bounce, but helping on the defense now. Maybe the perfect position for the Dubu for the moment. And they hold on to the empty net here. Assertive, given speed to the team. Has to awkwardly position, but gets back in time. And now the NATO on the top side might be able to do something. No, just Expo-chan winning a strike war again and again. Zoe the Witch in position. Tofu Fortress available. Log used, but it's a glitch pop from Expo to extend the hitbox. And that's another 3-0.
That was clean. Expo couldn't catch the core the way it was sent there, but a very fast glitch pop can.
All right, and first pick in the draft, what are you looking at? I think I know what you're looking at, actually.
I'm looking at two things, and it's a shame that the Amy cannot take both. It's Perfect Form and Fight or Flight, but this game, you want to take Fight or Flight, in my opinion. However, Perfect Form is not at all a weak decision. And, oh, what's happening? Fight or Flight fell.
Yeah, Fight or Flight falling down here is a little bit strange, I gotta say. Juok will be very happy to be able to receive that one. And at the very end of things, Aerials for a little bit more speed to the team here. Interesting draft.
Well, Zoe went to deny the spark from Appabug, but I think if you take Fight or Flight, you're less killable than if Appabug got Spark of Strength. I think it's just I think taking that movement speed and going all in, like last game, I mean, we saw what happened there, would be a much more strong situation to find yourself in.
Yeah, but still, they're still getting things done, but on the back foot a little bit. But Expo with the Cyber Swipe glitch pop combo once again. And once again, Expo pushing forward with the Fireball Sentry this time. Not too effective for the moment, though, with some good clears. But Zoe off the center to Tofu Fortress. And oh no, Dave tries desperately to get it away from the Dubu, but the angle is not quite there. What a crazy KO.
Wall up the center drum. Sent him flying. Oh my.
And the energy situation is looking bad, too, for Eternal Sovereigns.
Yeah, Expo's finding a lot of these Cyber Swipe glitch pop kills. And being able to consistently get those is very valuable because it cuts off a lot of the space of the map that they can play. And Dave, hits into the center drum. He's forced to use a flip to save that.
Yeah, we need to see this damage potential maybe come in. Juok almost taken out by the Cyber Swipe, saved by the drum, just barely. A flip from Assertive early to make sure the corner offense doesn't come into play here. And Juok just having to help defend so often. Can't really set up with Appabug. And now so much damage on Juok. The barrier's down. Appabug pushing forward desperately. The glitch pop dangerous. And Zoe still pushing forward. Expo, how many times have we seen that? Zoe distracting on the bottom side and Expo catching the cross.
Yeah, it's like their trademark. I mean, Dubu is just running it up that wall and eventually puts down his own wall. And then the moment that happens, they want to go for the cross clear, but Amy is able to cover that with Cyber Swipe.
It's a simple idea, but quite effective for Cyber Swipe. So consistent as well, as now this could be the final point of winner side for the Eternal Sovereigns. They were gifted this winner side slot because Cyber Swipe picked them, despite Eternal Sovereigns being fourth in the group. But their time in winners may run out here. Dave and Juok desperately trying to defend, but Expo in position. Zoe striking, but they get it out of the corner and they kill the Dubu. Wait a second, that might be the turnaround.
There's a reset on the stacks from Stacks, but Expo-chan is making a strong solo play here. Takes the barrier alone and kills Juok. That's a massive reverse power play. And now this game is finally calling out because no one wants to make that action. Zoe gets to spawn in here.
Yeah, crazy 1v3 play by Expo, and now Dave, great primary, but it's still such a dangerous situation as Expo's going in looking for any opportunity to Cyber Swipe, and now the bottom side's being clogged up by the Tofu Fortress. Top side now covered by Assertive and Zoe, looking for a dribble, looking for a strike war. Set away by Appabug, but still so dangerous on the top side as Expo pushes forward. A barrier taken. Wait a second, Eternal Sovereigns with a chance. Dave with a great strike shot, but Appabug with the flip doesn't quite connect, and now they're in such a bad spot.
Yeah, it slipped past his flip there. Zoe the Witch has the flip of her own, and it forces out Dave as he panics, and a Cyber Swipe beats out the strike shot and scores the goal.
Wonderfully played by Cyber Swipe. You saw the game plan in full effect. They flowcharted quite a bit, I think. As
they do seem to have quite a bit of experience on that kind of forward duo. Maybe even on that Arrow goalie.
Yeah, they looked very practiced, very confident, and now they're moving on. I think they're guaranteed top 6 here. Yeah, they're guaranteed top 6.
Wow.
Very, very good placement so far for CyberSwipe, but given how they perform in the weeklies, they'll definitely want to take it further here.
Expo Chen might have every goal in this entire lobby. No one scored a goal all game except for Expo Chen, I see.
CyberSwipe has like a very, very solid idea of how to play with your brawler, right? Your brawler's not there to score. Your brawler's there to make the goalie panic.
Yep.
And that's their style.
An infamously strong way of playing brawler. Just being that very noticeable presence, very scary presence on the field, and it kind of shifts that attention towards you. But the moment you look away, you're getting cyberswiped, right?
Yep. Well, with that kind of a good performance, they're the first team to make it into winners semis. We'll see who joins them. Perhaps the Atlas's Gardeners, the other winners of the group that won. And of course, the other matches that are going on right now. You can see in the bracket, Pass versus PP Legends, Ball and Ballers, Polar Cortex. And the loser side, there's plenty of teams just trying to stay afloat right now. But we'll see the next match after a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.